About a year ago, I heard a story about a young girl named Chloe. She was age 12, and every day she would run through her neighborhood. And one day, while running, she tripped and fell down, and there was a nice young man there who said he was age 17, and he was there to help get her up. He talked to her, consoled her, gained her trust, and then suggested to download the app Kik, and they could communicate with one another. And they did, and eventually those Kik conversations and sharing of images turned to telephone calls. And then one day, he invited her out to dinner. And instead of going to dinner, he took her back to his home and raped her and photographed it and filmed it. Now, I had the opportunity today to talk to Chloe and her mom, Tiffany, about the things that they want other parents and other children to know about online relationships and apps. Tell me about your story. And I have a little bit of a background. Thanks, Tiffany, for sending me some of those links and that. But tell me your story about how this whole thing came to be.
I met this guy when I was running, and we became friends over a period of time. And then one day, he asked if I wanted to go get something to eat, and I said yes. So he took me to his apartment, and it happened.
Wow. And so you met him really face to face, I guess, through running, correct?
Yeah.
And then did he ask you to download some type of app so you could communicate when you weren't physically?
Yeah, he told me to download Kik, and that because Kik messages are private, so really nobody can see them.
Right. And so how soon did he ask you to download Kik before you did that? I'm assuming there you would run by, you'd see him, you'd talk a little bit, and then at some point he asked you to download the app, right?
So it was the day that I met him when he asked me to download Kik, and I did it that day. And I would always see him when I ran, but I never stopped to talk or anything.
Right, right. And then did you communicate with him for a very long time over Kik before this happened?
So it was Kik for the longest time, and then we did it through his number.
His telephone number, you mean?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And Tiffany, when did you find out about this?
I didn't know anything about it until after the rape had occurred.
Oh wow, my goodness. And so from the very first time that you met him to the time that you were attacked, was that days, weeks, months?
It was a couple months.
It was a couple of months. And you just assumed he was a nice guy and that something like this couldn't happen, right? Yeah. So in terms of Kik, because this is one of the things that I've seen, and certainly talking to Rob Sanders, who you both know, right? What I learned is kind of this grooming process where they'll tell you very nice things over a period of time, and they're a good ear for you to kind of tell your story and what have you. And that did that take place as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. A lot of he made it to where he made me feel special in a way with everything he said, which is why I never paid attention to it or even thought about really anything.
Right. And this, when the first time you met him, how old were you?
12.
12 years old. And how old was he?
He told me he was 17.
And how old was he really?
28 or 29.
Wow. So I think to somebody who's 12 years old, 17, that 5 years age difference doesn't seem to be that big of a deal. Yeah. So where do you stand now? He's had his trial. You were there for the trial, is that right?
No.
You weren't there for the trial?
She went to sentencing.
Okay.
Well, she was,
And
well, I take that back. She was there for the trial, but she was not seen. Um, she was kind of stuck with her guardian ad litem, hung out with them and the advocate, the court advocate for her, just in case she needed to take the stand. She did not need to take the stand, so she was not seen during trial.
okay. And Tiffany, if there was something that you could tell to parents after this whole ordeal, which is how many years ago? A couple of years ago?
Yeah.
Almost 4.
Almost 4 years ago. So from the time this began through now to where we are today, you've had a range of emotions. What is the one thing you would tell parents today about their child's use of social media based off of all of these experiences?
With Chloe, back when this happened, when she was 12, I took her cell phone every night. So she was downloading Kik, and then in the evening she would delete it. So I monitored all of her social media. We're to the point now where her social media is, she still has her social media, but it's monitored, not just by myself, but any of our close friends that will see something pop up, or they are very quick to call now and say, hey, is everything okay, what's going on? But throughout the whole thing, trust is, just trusting your child and believing in them is, the biggest thing.
Okay. And Chloe, what would be the one thing you might tell a friend who is just beginning to get involved with social media? What would you tell them about your experience?
I would tell them to listen to their gut. Like if they are getting a feeling, like if they were to run into somebody they've never met in person, to don't give out any personal information, or don't send pictures.
Right. So speaking of that, did he have any idea how old you were?
Yeah, I told him that I was 12 and he told me that it was okay.